You see a man walking through the airport. He's wearing flip-flops and carrying an old backpack, a baseball cap on his head and flying economy class. He looks just like a broke college student, right? But here's the surprising part. This man actually owns 3 companies, with millions of dollars in the bank and plenty of other assets you can't see. And even though he has money, he still chooses to live frugally. Why so? It's not because he can't afford more, but because looking poor is part of his strategy. In this video, we're going to explore why the rich pretend to be poor, the rise of quiet luxury, the disguise behind it, and the trap known as the Diderot Effect. Most importantly, why this mindset might also work for you. Let's begin. Part 1. Why the rich pretend to be poor. When you think of rich people, most people imagine Lamborghinis, yachts, custom-designed suits, gold watches, and giant dollar sign chains, like typical rappers. And yes, plenty of celebrities dress like that. And they really are rich. But if you look closely, many of the richest people in the world have a completely different style, like Warren Buffett, the legendary investor with a net worth of about $150 billion, still living in a house he bought back in the 1950s. And until 2020, he still used an old folding Nokia phone, worth $20, before switching to an iPhone. Or Mark Zuckerberg, who wore the same gray t-shirt for years. Recently, he switched to black shirts, but the mindset is the same. Or Ingvar Kamprad, the founder of IKEA, who always flew economy and drove a 20-plus-year-old Volvo. These billionaires are not poor, but they certainly don't dress like rich people. Why? Because they're playing defense. For the wealthy, keeping a simple lifestyle helps them avoid lawsuits, scammers, and even the risk of kidnapping. It also helps them avoid unwanted attention from tax authorities, the media, or regulators. For super famous billionaires like Buffett or Zuckerberg, everyone knows who they are. But by keeping a modest image, they avoid becoming targets for bigger criticism, envy, or unnecessary drama. Notice how people gossip about the Kardashians' extravagance, but don't talk much about these billionaires. And above all, this lifestyle gives them peace. Because when you show off, people start watching you, following you, asking questions, or trying to take advantage of you. But when you stay quiet and blend in, you not only protect your money, but also safeguard your privacy and freedom. Part 2. Quiet luxury and the trap of flashy broke. Part 3. Some wealthy people choose to stay low-key. They avoid supercars, gold chains, or giant brand logos. They wear ordinary clothes, drive regular cars, and keep a discreet presence. This strategy is called stealth wealth, hidden prosperity. Instead of showing off with brands like Gucci or Balenciaga, they choose ultra-luxury labels that you may have never heard of, such as Loro Piana or Brunello Cucinelli. These are top-tier luxury brands, but they aren't flashy at all. And that's the first key point. Most people buy expensive items to signal status. They want to show they're successful, respected, or powerful. So logos are big, visible, and easy to recognize to make others impressed. Admire them, but truly wealthy people don't need that kind of validation. They know they're wealthy and don't feel the need to prove it to anyone. They still buy luxury goods, but not to show off. They buy them for comfort, quality, personal preference, and most importantly, because they can truly afford them. Meanwhile, many people who look wealthy are actually not well off at all. Studies show the group that spends the most on luxury goods is usually the middle class, not the upper class. Why? Because they're still trying to project an image. They fear being looked down on or underestimated. They want recognition, to be respected, so they use expensive items as signals. But those signals come at a cost. They rent luxury cars to impress coworkers, buy designer bags to fit in, and max out their credit cards just to look like they've made it. People call this conspicuous poverty, looking rich while actually being broke. Clothes shout, "I'm rich," but the bank account says otherwise. Part 3. The camouflage. Looking poor works surprisingly well because it acts like a disguise. When you don't show off, others don't see you as a target. In negotiations, if you show up wearing a Rolex and a designer suit, the other side assumes you can pay more and raises the price accordingly. If you post pictures showing off your wealth on social media, you'll attract fake friends, opportunists, or even lawsuits. And as you know, the wealthy are common targets for crime. In 2016, Kim Kardashian was robbed at gunpoint in a Paris hotel after posting photos of her jewelry. In 2020, rapper Pop Smoke showed a gift bag and accidentally revealed his address on Instagram. That night, he was shot dead in his own home. And that's the worst thing that can happen when you're wealthy in many countries. Showing off your wealth can even attract attention from the government, especially the tax authorities. So, tax inspectors often target the biggest show-offs, and the rich absolutely hate taxes. Yes, they truly despise them. I even made 2 videos about how the wealthy avoid taxes. Link in the description. But camouflage isn't just for avoiding taxes, it's for freedom. You might think everyone wants to be rich and famous, but many celebrities say the worst part of fame is losing privacy. A famous example is the king of pop, Michael Jackson. In 2003, he rented an entire supermarket in Florida just to experience what it felt like to shop like a normal person. The store closed for hours, and Jackson even paid staff and friends to pretend to be regular shoppers, pushing carts around him. He just wanted to feel normal again, and he wasn't the only one. Celebrities like Lady Gaga, Zayn Malik, Daniel Radcliffe, and Billie Eilish have all said they sometimes wish they could live more ordinary lives. Being rich and famous can turn life into a gilded cage. You're wealthy, but you can't go anywhere. You lose your freedom. That's why many rich people today prefer to stay hidden. They still live in that gilded cage, but at least they can come and go freely because no one recognizes them. Part 4, the Diderot Effect. Let's say you've just bought a luxurious item, maybe a new phone or a designer bag or coat. At first, you see it as a well-deserved reward for yourself. But then you realize other items start to look out of place. Your new coat doesn't match your old shoes. Your new phone doesn't go well with your cheap old headphones that look cheap. And then the urge begins. You want to upgrade even more things, not because they're broken, but just to make everything perfectly matching. This phenomenon is called the Diderot Effect. One upgrade leads to another, and then more until your entire lifestyle changes, without you even noticing. And this isn't just some online theory. It comes from a real historical story. In the 18th century, the French philosopher Denis Diderot received a beautiful red dressing gown as a gift, but when he wore it, he thought the rest of his furniture looked too cheap. So he replaced his table, replaced his chair, and many other things just to match the gown. In the end, he spent far more money, all because of one free gift. That is the origin of the Diderot Effect. And the danger lies in this. Once you get used to a higher standard, it quickly becomes your new normal. For example, before, you only allowed yourself to spend a maximum of $10 eating out. Then one day you received a bonus and treated yourself to a $30 meal. That's not wrong if you only do it once or twice. But if you're not careful, your brain will gradually adapt. At that point, a $30 meal is no longer considered luxury. It becomes normal. And suddenly, a $20 meal feels too cheap. That's how lifestyle inflation forms. And when it happens, you'll be stuck on the so-called hedonic treadmill. You spend more, expect more. Yet the happiness never lasts. That's why wealthy people avoid this trap completely. Because while the poor often buy luxury items to impress others, the rich use money to buy freedom. So here's why you should do the same. But of course, you don't have to be a billionaire to apply this strategy. Pretending to be poor or simply not showing off still brings benefits, even when you've just started building wealth. When you live quietly, others don't expect much from you. And being underestimated can sometimes be an advantage. For example, in negotiations, people are less likely to overcharge you. It also keeps you away from scammers or fake friends, those who only care about your money, not about you as a person. You know, the type who always borrows money but never pays back. If you look poor, no one dares ask to borrow anymore. And above all, it gives you peace of mind. Instead of throwing a big party to show off success, isn't it better to quietly enjoy life with those who truly matter? You can even use that money to invest, so your assets quietly grow behind the scenes without needing to show off. In short, next time you see someone in cheap slippers, looking poor, look a little closer. Maybe he's not poor at all. Maybe he's just smart. Because in a world where everyone loves showing off, Living simply is the real victory. It brings you peace, safety, and freedom. And who knows, this mindset might work for you too. If you want me to make another video explaining this topic in more depth, hit like and subscribe to Knowledge Station. Thank you for watching. Leave your thoughts in the comments below.